Welcome to Happy Today podcast. This is a podcast for those who want to improve service experience of internal services. If you use ServiceNow or other enterprise service management system, then this is for you. So, welcome to Happy Today podcast. It's going to be episode 20. Yay! Me and Sami, we are both, I think, suffering a bit on the flu season. So if the audio quality is bad, it's because of our, little bit of flu. Topic for today is around ServiceNow. So ServiceNow is the enterprise service management tool that most of our customers work with. And the kind of the slogan of make work better is what ServiceNow is saying. And it really ties in nicely with our messaging, which is about employee experience. So making employees more productive and happy with their work. But Sami, why do you see that measuring employee experience helps you with your ServiceNow things?
I think there were some big changes in ServiceNow like 2 years back when they started to talk very, very much about employee experience. And for us, I felt really, really good because that really showed that at that point they started to understand also that the service management is there for how we help employees to use the service and get support. So there is no other reason why this whole tool exists or why we exist or ServiceNow people or their partners exist. We help common customers to really work more efficiently, but also to make the end users more happy for the services. I think that's the other word that they are using very much nowadays, which it's outcomes.
Yeah.
So whatever you do you do that for some outcome?
Exactly.
And that's also very, very important thing what we are supporting them to do and whole ecosystem to do, to really focus on if you implement something should change for the end user. And really to be focused on that change.
Yeah. I think there's like 4 things that you usually talk about, and I think the 4th one is the outcomes. But I think if we start like the whole thing, like how our customers use the employee experience. So what about the first 3? Where do we start?
We have to start from the transparency. So a complicated word, yeah. But what it means is that when you are measuring end user satisfaction and user experience, nobody should own that. Meaning that owning in the sense that you don't share it. That should be shared to everybody that is involved in developing their experience, because that would be a common target.
Yeah.
So sharing that to your ServiceNow partner, sharing that to ServiceNow, your service desk team, to be able to get their support for you. And the next word is trust.
True.
When you share it with everybody and they start to understand that you trust them to help you, it starts to change the whole thing. Because then next, the third word is focus. Because when you together now have recognized those areas that are not working perfectly in your service desk or service management, then you have a common issue with all the stakeholders from your partners, services, whoever, to be focused on that one issue that you are now solving. It might be that it is a functionality available in ServiceNow that would help you. It might be this training to somebody in your ecosystem, but you need to recognize those areas where you are not at your best.
Yeah, and I think what our solutions together with ServiceNow does is that ServiceNow has all the operational data, and then we combine it with our experience data. So then you actually start to identify that, hey, the experience and the lost productivity based on the operational data, it's when people are using certain channels, or they're using certain service, or they are located in a certain office. So then you can really
something happened during the process, it was reassigned too many times, or whatever is the kind of what happens in service desk.
Yeah.
So combining those 2 things is crucial to really be able to do the right changes to your service management.
So I get it that then when you have a focus and you have understand that problem, and then we are talking about the outcomes. So then you're coming up, you go to the knowledge expo or something, and you say, oh, now there's this nice feature called virtual agent. I love to have that feature as a techie. Yeah. Then I could actually start to formulate, hey, that the outcome of taking virtual agent into use is that we want to reduce from the productivity loss of the employees in these certain services. So for example, that the chatbot should be utilized on these places where people are maybe already using the chat channel, and they are always talking about these certain services that could be self-services through the virtual agent or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So don't take in use functionalities because of the functionalities, which still is quite often the thing. You have to figure out what you really want to do, what you really want to change.
Yeah.
Not, okay, you might have a technical proof of concept of something, but don't think that is a kind of something that you can deliver to the end customers if you don't really think about it, how you will change their cooperation with you.
Yeah. And then I think part of the outcomes comes also that how do you show that you actually made the outcome that you promised to do? Because we have heard these stories talking with ServiceNow people and our customers that, so how do you know that it was successful, that you rolled out some new feature? Well, nobody complained. Well, now actually with the productivity data and the employee experience data, you could show that, hey, we were able to reduce the productivity loss so and so much.
Yeah, yeah. And I think one of the, I would even say the most used thing what we measure from the end customers in when thinking about doing a business case. Why to invest to something like a virtual agent or changing channels or something like that. It's about getting rid of reassignment counts.
Yeah.
And when we measure a customer for, let's say, a few months, we start to know that how much does it cost that the ticket is reassigned again and again.
Yeah.
Typically, it is about 1 hour per each reassignment count.
Yeah.
So when you are thinking of virtual agents or you are thinking about some other functionalities that you have AI functionalities in the tool nowadays.
Yeah.
If you are able to show to business that this is the thing what you're trying to aim, you are trying to get rid of these 10,000 reassignment counts in these and these services. That's the base of business case. And always getting rid of reassignment counts will also make the end user more happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is the both things, the efficiency of end users, but also how happy they are with your services.
And I think nowadays they also talk about these workflows with ServiceNow. So they have the workflow designer. So which workflow would you automate with the designer is also a good way. I would personally automate that workflow that the employees are saying that they're losing the most time, because that is the most business critical. Like we said, that people are giving their feeling of how much time I lost. Well, the feeling is quite accurate in places that are really business critical. So don't look at it from IT side, kind of inside out, that what we want to automate in IT, but look what the employees are reporting, where are they losing the most of their time, and automate that. Then you actually make really happy employees, and you get a justification to the next automation and next automation where more people in the organization see the value of your efforts.
I just want to repeat these 4 words because that is the biggest thing what we do together with the whole ecosystem of ServiceNow, helping customers to really utilize the ecosystem of ServiceNow in the best possible way. The transparency, then you have the trust between the partners, then you have the focus, ability to identify together what you must be doing differently, and then you will get outcomes and proven outcomes from the end user perspective. So that's pretty simple. When I say it like this, I know that it's not as simple as it sounds, but that's the culture what we try to kind of help this industry to change to. So data-driven, employee-centric way of working, and that's I think the reason why quite a lot of ServiceNow people are now very, very willing to work with us, because we are able to help really.
And something that we try to avoid in this podcast is talking about our solution. But I think in this situation I want to highlight maybe a couple of things, because so we really do provide a solution from ServiceNow. It's available from the ServiceNow store, and it's a ready-made solution, so with fast deployment. Because I think if you divide it into 3 things, what you need to do to actually manage employee experience is first to measure, get the data, then you need to be able to share it, and then you need to be able to identify. So measuring is of course this surveying part that people are asking, well, we are already doing it with the out-of-the-box feature. Well, that's fine, but I think we have it like ready-made, you don't have to spend any time on it, and we get really high response rate, so you get a lot of data. And getting a lot of data is really important, otherwise it's individual opinions that you're working with.
And then you get benchmark.
But I think that's the easy part. Then comes the sharing. So using our live info screens, using our instant feedback loop, so for the agents, you're able to get the feedback instantly in real time for all the stakeholders. And this is, I think, where most people fail. So they get a lot of feedback, but then they don't share it and they don't do anything with it. So I think our solution is the strong point is definitely on the sharing part.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is identifying. So having a real-time live report, like some people in ServiceNow saying like a live business value assessment all the time up and running. So of course you could do it, with some reporting tools, you do it monthly or you use the performance analytics in certain ways. But that also requires a lot of work. And our thing is out of the box, and also like you said, it provides the benchmark. So we gather the data from all our customers. So we are even able to say that what is the channel division with our customers usually? How many are actually now moving away from email, who are taking portal into use? So you can also use that to justify things that you want to do with your service now. So I think that's the product plug that we have never done before. And definitely if you want to learn more on that, you can just go to our website and book a demo session.
Yeah. And it's like, I think that was a long answer to the question that what are the differences between our tool and ServiceNow. We don't see any conflict there on our ServiceNow survey tool can be used for many purposes and those things that we will never do, because in our product it's always ready-made surveys for certain purposes. Yeah. And it's not everything you want to measure.
It's about the continuous thing. So then if you want to make ad hoc things, then I think the ServiceNow tool is really good. Like other external survey tools, they're really good on that.
Yeah, and there are like, when we are saving all the data always back to ServiceNow.
Yeah.
When you want to do processes behind or use that data to accelerate the things you do in service management tool in your ServiceNow, the data is there, so you can do whatever with that immediately, creating new tickets or whatever is needed.
Yeah. Nowadays with the workflow designer in ServiceNow, when the data comes back from HappySignals, you can actually launch something like it was a really poor score. You can make a workflow and make people, follow up from that for that employee or do actions or make them known that hey, this thing just happened. Yeah. Any last words on people, maybe joining the Now at Work events now around Europe next week?
We'll be in at least 3 locations, still 1 location open for us. Yeah. We'll be in London, in Amsterdam and in Frankfurt. Happy to talk about this with ServiceNow people, ServiceNow partners and new customers. This is of course something is very, very near to our heart.
Yeah, those are actually free events. So,
they are. Yeah.
So if you're interested in ServiceNow, go and join the events. It's usually a nice atmosphere there. All right, thanks Sami. I think that was a wrap. You can find all the show notes and links we have on the website. But anyway, I would say stay happy and until next time.
And don't get the flu from us.
Exactly.
Yeah.